Welcome back. Well, further recovery in the market, so looking good. Maybe the SIP numbers really fueled sentiment on the upside. We have the Nifty, which is just about lower by around 30-odd points, and the mid-cap index, which is down around 67-odd points at this point in time. So not doing too badly as we speak. The specific stocks which stand out, again, continues to be the entire banking space. The PSU Bank Index has been underperforming. So maybe the PSU Bank Index should come up for you. And let's see how that's doing. Still down around 0.8% at this point in time. But let's talk about one specific piece of news. City gas distributors and focus as high-level expert committee on natural gas has recommended restoration of APM allocation for the CNG segment. We have with us DK Sarraf, who's the former chairperson at PNGRB, and he was also the former CMD at ONGC, and in fact is the author of this report, has made key recommendations in this particular report. Mr. Sarraf, thank you very much for joining in. If you could just start by giving us the rationale behind the recommendation for an increase in the APM gas allocation to CGD.
You see, today, natural gas forms only 6% in our energy basket. Globally, it is 24 to 25%, and Indian government has the mandate to increase it to 15%. So from 6% to 15% we have to go. And the rationale of increasing the share of natural gas in the energy basket is also very clear, because it is more environment friendly as compared to petrol and diesel, the liquid fuels. It is far more environment friendly if we compare it with coal, and most of the times it is more economical than the liquid fuels, petrol and diesel. That may be partly because of the tax concessions which the government gives for the natural gas, but at the end of the day it is more economical so far as the consumers are concerned. So the government is giving so much of concessions to the natural gas sector, but still we are lagging at 6% only for so many years. Now, if we see the CGD sector out of the natural gas total sector, it amounts to almost more than 20% of the total consumption of natural gas in India, and that is the growth engine for increasing the natural gas consumption in India. So a couple of years back, it used to be very low. It used to be 15%. Today it is 20% in the the contribution of CGD sector. If we talk of number of vehicles which are run by CGD, they have grown 3 times over the last 7-8 years. And if you see the CNG stations in India, they have grown 4 times during last 5 years or so.
You know, Mr. Sarraf, it's quite a... Yeah, I understand. It's quite a visionary report, and there are a fair amount of suggestions that there are for increased usage of CNG and natural gas, obviously taking into account the current environment issues that we're facing as well. What I also want to understand is on 2 particular suggestions, which have been long pending requirements or demands from the industry as well. One, removal of excise duties. This could reduce the prices. And second, inclusion in GST. On both of them, it does not address how the revenue shortfall for the states will be. I mean, what is the cost that one has to pay for removal of these excise duties, or probably what is the compensation that the government will have to pay to the states if they are included in GST? So what the cost to the government could be, does that report have a number on that?
Yeah, the report has a number on that. I may not remember that instantly, but the mechanism which the report gives is like this. Because if you, we said that the GST should, natural gas should be included in GST because the GST paid on various inputs by different manufacturers who are using natural gas, that GST is extended. What we suggested, we took care of the government's concern on revenue, And we said that you include natural gas within GST, but you put a rate of GST in such a manner that it becomes revenue neutral. When it becomes revenue neutral, it may not become revenue neutral to each state, but on an overall basis, it would become revenue neutral. And then government should devise a mechanism that how to address, because some states would benefit and some states would lose. Then how to transfer money from state X to state Y. So for that, government would need to introduce some mechanism, but it should be revenue neutral to the government. So it takes care of the interest of the government. It takes care of the interest of the concern of the industry as well.
Sure. Mr. Sarraf, I just wanted to just narrow down on one particular point, which is the mandatory use of CNG in public and commercial vehicles in high polluting areas. Just give us a sense in terms of how feasible this kind of recommendation is, considering the current scenario that we are seeing in cities such as Delhi and Mumbai, and also the fact that at one point, at one end, the government is also focusing on the conversion to EVs. So just give us a sense in terms of the feasibility of such a recommendation.
You see, you may not remember because you are too young, but we remember in the early 90s when there was no CNG in Delhi, and how much pollution used to be there. And from that time till now, the number of vehicles have increased many, many times, maybe 10 times or 15 times. So it is, CNG which helped Delhi in controlling the environment and pollution within the city. But now we need to refresh that drive, that more and more vehicles need to be CNG run, and it may not be possible overnight. There could be some more incentives in terms of excise benefit to CNG vehicles, etc. So all those measures the government has to take. And on your point that what about EVs? So CNG is not competing with EVs. So EVs also should be encouraged. And we have seen that despite so much of incentivization on EVs by the government for last several years, the number of vehicles in EVs have not increased much. So CNG is the solution for the time being. And when the government is able to introduce more and more EVs, then the CNG vehicles can be replaced by EVs.
All right, Mr. Sarraf, these are suggestions that you've given and they're well taken. Let's see what the implementation on those are. Just basis these suggestions, there was a spike in the stock prices earlier, but now all eyes on the implementation. Thank you so much for joining in. On the other side of the short break, we will have Manisha Gupta joining in with Chirag Sheth from the metal space to speak about that.